Should we have a surprise shootout round from day one till here? All right, ready? Okay, let's do this. I need to remember, right? What is a region? It's a geographical area, or it's a place where AWS has its own data center. Very good. What is the availability zone? Availability zone is simply a data center. So does the region contain multiple availability zones? Yes. Which is the region that we should be using it in our course? Mumbai. What is the code for Mumbai? AP minus South minus 1. And how many availability zones are there in Mumbai? 3. What are those? Super. 1A, 1B, and 1C. Starting me, it's my wish. I can go anywhere. Okay. Okay. And then these availability zones interconnected with each other? Yes. So if I launch one EC2 instance in 1A, and if I launch another EC2 instance in 1B, can they both communicate with each other? Yes. 2 availability zones interconnect with each other. If I launch one EC2 instance in 1A, if I launch another EC2 instance in 1B, they can communicate with each other? Yes, because they are interconnected with each other. So if I given a requirement that to launch 20 EC2 instances, would you recommend to launch all these 20 EC2 instances in 1A in single availability zone? No. What is the better way? To distribute to distribute across the availability zones. So 1A or 1B or 1C availability zone will go down anytime? No. So do you all agree that one availability zone is a group of data centers in the backend? These regions and availability zones are completely managed by AWS. And regions, 2 regions can communicate with each other by default? No. If required? Yes. What is a load balancer? Distribute the traffic to multiple servers. Okay. So does this load balancer is specific to any availability zone? So load balancer is created at regional level or availability zone level? Regional level. Okay. Okay. If you want to secure an entire resources in AWS, wow, VPC. What is the full form of VPC? Virtual Private Cloud. And how many VPCs you can have? 5. VPC is regional or global? Does AWS is providing any default VPC? Yes. Yes. Okay. First of all, I need to prepare. Okay. So, which is the service in AWS where you can go and create virtual machines? EC2. What is the full form of EC2? Elastic Compute Cloud. EC2 is regional or global? Regional. Okay. So can I rephrase like this? EC2 is a web service from AWS where you can go and launch EC2 instances. Yes. What are servers or virtual machines called here in EC2? Instances only. We just know about load balancer. What is load balancer called in EC2? Elastic load balancer, ELB, elastic load balancer. ELB is completely managed by, this ELB is a service or a server from service. Is it possible to log into the ELB? How do we access the ELB? Using the URL or DNS name. And do we need to really worry about the performance of the load balancer? No. Will the load balancer will go down anytime? No. How do you achieve elasticity in AWS? I went back. Huh? Auto scaling. Very good. What is that? Auto scaling. How do you achieve elasticity in AWS using auto scaling? Good. This elasticity is also called as what scaling? Horizontal or vertical? Horizontal scaling. What is auto scaling? Scale out and then scale in. Scale out meaning increasing, scale in meaning decreasing. What is scalability? Increasing the capacity of the server. Increasing the capacity of the server is called scalability. In another word, scalability is equal to scale up, scale down. Scale up, scale down. So this elasticity is short term or long term? This scalability is long term. So if you want to set up a high availability, we have three important things there to set up. What are those? RMF. What is that? What is RMF? Redundancy, monitoring, and failover. What is redundancy, Chitti? Repetitive. So keeping the same application in multiple servers. And who will be doing the monitoring? Load balancer. Using health checks. Using health checks. And what is the success status code that you get? 200. And who will be doing the failover? Failover. Who will be doing the failover? Load balancer itself will be doing the failover. Very good. Okay. Which is the service in AWS is used for easy and quick deployment of applications? Beanstalk. What is the full form of Beanstalk? Elastic Beanstalk. Okay. In general, in platform as a service, do we have control on the servers? No. But here in Elastic Beanstalk, do we have the control on the servers? But is it recommended to control it? No. What is the backbone of Beanstalk? EC2. Very good. Tell me, I have an application I need to deploy in AWS. What are the services do you recommend to deploy the application? EC2, Beanstalk. Correct? EC2 and Beanstalk. In EC2, we need to go and set up everything by ourselves. But in Beanstalk, we need to just give the application. We need to configure it. Do you agree that Beanstalk provides the platform for us? Yes. And which is a service in AWS is everything is there. I just need to go and select it and use it. Light sail. What is that? Light sail. Does the light sail supports auto scaling? So can this light sail will be used for your big enterprise companies? No. Okay. I want to do some automation. Lambda. So Lambda is server based or serverless? Serverless. In Lambda, what do we create? In Lambda, what do we create? Functions. Does the Lambda support multiple languages like .NET, Java, Python, etc.? So Lambdas are just a functions that we create, but we need to trigger the functions. Yes. So from where do we collect all the events and then we can invoke the Lambda functions? Event bridge. Event bridge. Let's say, for example, I have so many EC2 instances and I want to stop all these EC2 instances at night. So will you go and stop all the EC2 instances one by one manually? How do you do that? Automatically using Lambda itself, using Lambda. Very good. Okay. I have so many photos, files, documents. S3. What is the full form of S3? Simple storage service. Everything in AWS will start with simple and end with service. S3 is limited storage or unlimited storage? Unlimited storage. So in S3, we can just only upload, download, access the files. Is it possible to run, execute, deploy anything there? No. S3, in S3, what do we create? Buckets. What does the bucket contains? Objects. What is the name of the object? Key. Wow. S3 is what based storage? Object based storage. In S3, S3 is giving an advanced feature to, what is that? Static website hosting. Is it possible to do and deploy static website hosting there? Yes. Yes or no? So now, what are hard disks called in EC2? Volumes. What volumes? What volumes? EBS volumes. What volumes? EBS volumes. What is the full form of EBS? Elastic block storage. How many steps are there to launch an EC2 instance? 7. When you're launching the EC2 instance, you will get a default volume. What is the default volume? Root volume. What does the root volume contains? OS. How many root volumes you can have per instance? What are the rest of the volumes called? Additional volumes. Do you all agree that volumes can be attached and detached? In EC2, does it support client-side operating systems or server-side operating system? What is the maximum size of the volume? 16 terabyte. So volume should be pre-provisioned. If you have created a volume of 500 GB, but you are using only 50 GB inside it, so AWS will charge for 50 or 500? 500. Volume size can be increased on fly. Do we need to stop the EC2 instance for that? Volume size can be decreased. What do you do if you want to decrease? So you said detach, that's good. But what do you need to, instead of detach it, so let's say you have 500 GB volume and you don't want this 500 GB. What you need to do, you need to detach it, delete it, correct? Or whatever you have the data inside it, migrate the data to some other volume and then delete this and create a new volume and put it back. Okay, nice. And is it possible to detach the root volume while EC2 is running? No. What you need to do? Stop it. Excellent. Is it possible to detach additional volume while EC2 is running? Yes. Recommended? Does the EC2 instance has availability zones? Volumes has availability zones? So EC2 instance and volume should be in the same availability zone or different? Same. I have one volume in, I have 1A EC2 instance. I have 1A volume. Can that 1A volume can be attached to 1B EC2 instance? No. Why? Because why? 1A volume cannot be attached to 1B EC2 instance. Why? Yes, it's a different availability zones. It's a different availability zones. Good. One volume can be attached to multiple EC2 instances at the same time? No. But remember this point. I told you that to put a star mark there. Why? One volume cannot be attached to multiple EC2 instances. But when we go deeper into EC2 section, there are different types of volumes. We haven't learned that. That will is upcoming sessions. There is one type where you can do that. But generally, as a ground rule, one volume cannot be attached to multiple EC2 instances. But there is a type of volume which can be done. Okay, if at all in certification they will ask this question, so they will ask a specific type of volume that can be attached. Answer is yes. But what are those? We'll talk on that later. And I need to have a shared storage across multiple EC2 instances. What's that? EFS. What is the full form of EFS? Elastic File System. EFS is for which operating systems? Linux operating systems. And EFS works on which protocol? NFS version 4. NFS version 4. Okay. EFS is completely managed by AWS. For Windows operating system, what is the shared storage? FSX. And this EFS is what based storage? File based storage. What is that? File based storage. Excellent. S3 is a object based. EBS is a block storage. EFS is a file based storage. Excellent. This EFS is limited storage or unlimited storage? Unlimited storage. Do we need to pre-provision EFS? No. This EFS can be attached to multiple EC2 instances at the same time across availability zones? Yes. I have a lot of huge data in my on-premises. I want to transfer it to AWS. Snow family. What are those three devices? Snow cone, edge, and mobile. What is the size of cone? 8 terabyte. Size of edge? Mobile? Petabytes. If you put your data in these devices, AWS will push all this data to where? S3. So this is a virtual data transfer or physical data transfer? Physical data transfer. And I have so many files, photos that you will put it in S3, but I am not using that frequently. I don't want to pay more money. Which is the service that you can use it for? Glacier. Glacier is used for what? Archiving purpose. Is it cheaper than your S3? Yes. In on-premises, we have storage. In AWS also, we have storage. In on-premises, there is always problem with the storage, the space issue, this space issue. So is it possible to mount this AWS storage services to your on-premises using what service? Storage gateway. Storage gateway is what kind of storage is that? Is it public, private, or hybrid? Hybrid storage. If I want to set up a databases, RDS. So what is the full form of RDS? Relational Database Services. This RDS is a service or a server? Service. How many engines this RDS supports? 6 engines. What are those? MOM PMA. MOM PMA. MySQL, Oracle, MS SQL, Postgres, MariaDB, and Aurora. Which is AWS proprietary engine? Aurora. This RDS, these are all RDBMS databases only? Yes. In EC2, we call it as EC2 instance. Whereas in RDS, we call it as DB instance. Is it possible to do RDP remote desktop SSH to that, login to that RDS DB instance? No, we can only connect it. Is it possible to log into the platform? No. Which is the service in AWS is a NoSQL service. What is that? DynamoDB. It is relational or non-relational? Non-relational. If you want to migrate any database from your on-premises to AWS or from one engine to other engine, which is the service to use? DMS. And which is the service that used for data warehouses? Redshift. What is that? Redshift. Okay. So there is one customer where he's frequently accessing the application, same data again and again. And my requests are fed up going to the database, getting the data again and again, the same data. Which is the thing that you can implement in the middle? Cache. What is the service? Elastic Cache. Elastic Cache supports 2 engines. Elastic Cache support 2 engines. What are those? Redis and Facial. Where is Anagala? Memcached. What is that? Memcached. Very good. Okay. Whenever you create, guys, whenever you create a elastic load balancer, you know that we will be accessing that load balancer using the URL. That URL is a nice looking URL or nasty URL? Guys, that is really not a nasty URL. That is the name I put it. In your interviews, tell them that it's not a friendly URL. Okay. Don't say nasty URL. Huh? Not friendly URL. Okay. So is it recommended to give this nasty URL to your customers to access the application? No. It looks very nasty. My ELB dot blah 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 dot AP South blah blah will be there. So which is the service in AWS where you do this makeup? Route 53. So why we call 53 there? Which port number? DNS port number is 53. So Route 53 contains what? Records. Route 53 contain records. So I have on-premises and I have AWS. Your company will be connecting to the AWS using what? Using VPN. So your VPN is in shared internet or dedicated internet? So your VPN is secure? Yes, your VPN is still secure. But if you have some customers, they don't want to be in the shared internet concept. If they want to have a dedicated net, that direct connect. Very good. It's a direct connect. And then I have a server, I have my application in one region, which is Mumbai. You're answering already, huh? Okay, so you have an application in one region and you want to provide a low latency across the globe. Which is a service that you can implement there? CloudFront. CloudFront has what? Edge locations. What does the job of edge location? Caching. What does it cache? Our data. So does it cache only static, dynamic, or both? Both. For how long will it be cached? Based on the TTL value. Example, TTL. So now, is it possible to go and modify or delete right in what is that? Edge locations? Yes. How do you do that? Invalidate the cache. Invalidate the cache. So can you? So in other words, can we say that is it possible for you to go and delete the cache? Yes. Is it possible to go and delete the cache? Yes. Using what? Invalidating cache. In CloudFront, what do we create? Distribution. Is it possible to restrict some locations not to access your applications? What is that called? Geo restrictions. Now, I want to create users so that you guys can access my account. Which is a service? IAM. What is the full form of IAM? Identity and access management. There are how many types of users or account? Two. What are those? Root user and IAM user. Which one has full permissions? Root. Which one has limited permissions? IAM. Is it possible to give permissions for the IAM users? If I give permission for an IAM user 1, like EC2, can he go and create the buckets? Can he go and create the buckets? No, because which kind of permission I have given? EC2. Can he go and launch EC2 instances? Yes. Is it possible to create an IAM user and give admin permissions? Yes. But what is the difference between the root user and then admin? Billing. And by the way, did you sign up your AWS account? Everyone? Super. I have so many root accounts, so many departments. How do I simply manage multiple root accounts? organizations. What is the main root account called? What account is that? Management account. And the child accounts are called member account. What is that? Member account. Very good. Which is the service is used for inspecting the AWS environment? AWS Inspector. Which is the service will give advices for you? Trusted advisor. Which is the service used for sending notifications? Which is the service used to send emails? There is also a service you might have known, like, developers will know this, queues. Have you heard about queues? Developers might have heard about queues. Basically, in your company, you might be using RabbitMQ, Kafka. All these are all queues related, queue related things. So those who know that already queues, in AWS, there is a service called SQS. What is that? SQS. What is the full form of SQS? Simple queue service. What is that? Simple queue service. So I have EC2 instances, but I'm really scared when those EC2 instances will go down and the CPU utilization will go high. So how do I monitor my EC2 instances? Using CloudWatch. So CloudWatch is used for monitoring purpose. So this CloudWatch monitors only EC2. It monitors the whole AWS resources. In CloudWatch, what do we create? Alarms we create. So alarms, while creating alarms, what is the metrics that we use? CPU, memory, and all this, we use it. And if it is reaching my alarm, if my CPU utilization going greater than 90%, OTP. So how does it send a notification for us? Using email or SMS. Which is the service is used to send notifications? SNS. There are two types of monitoring in CloudWatch. What are those? Basic monitoring and detailed monitoring. So in basic monitoring, what is the time interval? 5 minutes. And in detail, 1 minute. Which one is free? Which one is default? Basic itself. And detail is chargeable? Yes. And I want to see who is doing what. I want to see who is doing what in my AWS environment. So which is the service where I can go and find who is doing what? Cloud Trail. Is it possible? Can I use this Cloud Trail as a auditing purpose? Yes, I can use it. And I want to know who did the changes for my AWS resources. In which service you can use that to find out those changes? Config. What is that? Config. And which support did you selected? Which AWS support did you selected while creating an account, while setting up account? Basic support. Super. Excellent, guys. Big round of applause. Very good. Very good. It's not a joke. It's not, superb. I'll tell you one thing here. I know most of the people have answered this. We have, there is certification, right? In that certification, we have 60 to 70 questions. I bet with this knowledge, you can clear at least 20 certification questions already. How many? 20 already. Without entering into the AWS console, You have completed 20 questions in certifications. Right? Understood? And I'm really happy that each one of you here, like, has started answering all the questions. That is really good. I don't have any words. I'm really happy for all of you guys. So, is this helpful? How we are going it? All good? Smooth as butter? This is the way that you want? Nice. As a token of appreciation, I'm winding up the class today.